and also maybe some student sharing as well. Some of your alumni will be also talking about the experience at MSE at NUS. So my name is Benjamin T, and I am currently running research on sensors, robotics, and self-healing materials. If you're interested, you can read about my research. But today I want to talk about material science, and all of you probably have already some interest in this field because you're already selected your program at Nanyang, right? So Vincent, next slide.
Okay.
Yeah, so before I begin, I'd like to ask a simple question actually. I don't know if anybody know this man here, this photo of this man. Anybody can make a guess what is his name? You can put your answers in the chat if you know who he is, or you can also unmute yourself and say who you think he is. Okay, well, somebody have said it's a Google CEO. All right. Anybody else want to guess? Yeah, that's right. So his name is Sundar Pichai, and he's the Google CEO, right? Thank you, Jian, for that. So now the next question may be a little bit harder, right? So what do you think his degree is in? Computer science? Data analytics? Machine learning? But you can give your answer in the chat. I'm pretty sure some of you probably Googling it right now. Okay. Yeah, even if you Google, you can feel free to give us the answer in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Anybody knows what his degree, first basic degree is in? Give maybe a little minute, maybe another 30 seconds.
Metallurgical engineering.
Okay, great. Thank you for the answer. Yeah, metallurgy actually, his degree is metallurgy, which is study of metals, right, essentially. And so that's actually a material science degree, right? And you can see that the head of one of the world's most famous company and probably one of the highest paid CEO, right, has his degree from material science. And that was very surprising when I found out, but also not too surprising. I started to realize that material science is so, it's very diverse and very, it's a degree that allows you to talk to many different disciplines, because material science is a discipline that almost brings together all other disciplines. So it's at the heart of a lot of modern technology. And after that, he went and did his master's degree program, and after I joined Google, and the rest is history. But he's really started from material science, right? And I hope that it's something interesting, a tidbit you get, out of today's session, right? So for the rest of the talk, we'd like to maybe show you a video, right, by the Dean of Engineering. So, and we also, Dr. Vincent Lee, who's with me, is a lecturer at our department. We'll talk about the curriculum. And lastly, we'll end off with how to be successful when you transit from a polytechnic to a broad-based university such as NUS, and in particular, material science and engineering. And we have two ex-NYP students that will share their experience. Then we have a Q&A. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop it into the chat at any point in time throughout the session, all right? Okay, so let's begin with a bit of a short video by the Dean of Engineering, who will kind of show you a little bit about how the Faculty of Engineering is like at NUS.
Engineering is about solving some of the world's toughest problems. But the challenges engineers face are becoming more complex. So at NUS Engineering, we are transforming how we train the engineers of the future. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm the Dean of NUS Engineering. As engineering challenges evolve, engineers need to draw on an ever broader range of skills and knowledge. So we have reimagined our curriculum. For students starting in August 2021, you will have a bigger range of options than ever before. We think of it as your opportunity to build your own degree, You'll have the flexibility to study both the traditional engineering disciplines while broadening your skills in other areas. NUS Engineering is already ranked in the top 10 globally for engineering. It's number 1 in Singapore for graduate employability. We have a world-class faculty who are global leaders in cutting-edge research, such as biomedical engineering, medical technology, quantum engineering, and advanced materials. Over the past year, many of our faculty have stepped up to join the fight against COVID-19, developing new testing kits, therapeutics, and protection equipment designed to keep frontline healthcare workers safe. As an NUS engineering student, you will engage with and learn from these experts. We have access to the latest digital technologies and labs. From day one, you'll be exposed to hands-on engineering using robotics and drones, and work on other cool projects that will build your foundational knowledge. NUS Engineering is at the heart of a global network with exchange programs with leading engineering schools around the world, strong ties with NUS Overseas College Program, and industry connections that offer access to a world of exciting internships. At NUS Engineering, we're here to help you discover your passions, to build your skills to the best you can be, and go where you want to go. So please come join us. We're looking forward to building the future of engineering with you.
Okay, thank you, Vincent. Thanks. Next slide. So I hope you have got a very good overview of faculty engineering, right? In particular at NUS. And actually, the MSE department is actually under the faculty of engineering, right, at NUS. And there are many reasons why I think you can consider joining an MSE, right? Among them, that we are actually the #1 for employability, right, as a degree program, and that is actually done by QS ranking. So employer recognition is very strong, which means you're very likely to get a job right after graduating. Even before you graduate, you might be able to get a job. And we are doubling the faculty members, and we already have, actually we are the first in the Asia, right, to actually have a Nobel laureate in our department, right, Professor Kostya Nosolov, who is one of the winners of the Graphene Nobel Prize in 2000. And we have many flexibility to choose different kinds of programs. I think Vincent will share a bit about that. And we have a very nice ratio of student to teachers, right? Because we keep a fairly reasonable ratio to make sure that every student has access to the faculty time, right? And also mentorship. NUS as a whole has many overseas learning experience that we will share, right? Such as overseas college and so on. And I think that in the years moving forward, hopefully all of you have a chance to travel again. And of course, if you're very interested in research, we have very top-notch researchers and many different exciting projects. All right. So the next slide talks about the flexible modules. I think we design it such that about a third is in common curriculum, which is the first year. And many of you would have actually have the ability to have advanced placement credits so that you actually can shave off a whole year, right, when you join NUS MSE, because you already have your diploma in Nanyang Polytechnic. And the rest, 25%, about a quarter, is unrestricted, which means you get to choose any kinds of subjects or modules, right? You can, can do public speaking courses, you can take business classes, you can do computer science, right? And that's the benefit of having a diverse university like NUS, where we are both strong in arts, engineering, computer science, and so this is a different compared to many universities you can find, right, in Singapore. And the rest of the about 37% is module related. So most of you will be taking these major requirements right away when you actually join NUS. Okay. So lastly, I'd just like to highlight that, I think as a whole, I think we have very strong prospects for our students, right, when they graduate with a very high median salary. And I believe that even this year, the statistics are looking good. And we're probably going to be going above this median salary here. And even in COVID times last year, we have over 90% employment. And this year is the same. Based on our statistics, we're getting a lot of all our students almost have employment before they graduate, after they graduate. And we work in many different fields, right? And because material science and engineering prepares you to communicate with many different disciplines, so your options as career is very diverse as well, right? So you may decide to take on different kinds of modules and realize, oh, you like that better. It's easy for you because you have a strong sort of platform and fundamentals when you take material science because of the diversity that we are offering and also the flexibility in taking modules. All right, so I'll end on with that, but I also like to talk about a little fun thing that we are organizing for all of you, right? Many of you, I understand, are very familiar with 3D printing, right? And we actually have a short video where we want to give you a challenge. We want to present a challenge for you, right? Vincent, can you play this video? Everybody has probably cooked an egg before, right? What we want to do is to 3D print this egg from being open and dropped at a time. So this example design that you can come up with a design as a team, right? Of your friends to actually come up with a much better design that can allow it to go up at a much higher height. And the next slide will give you a bit of details on the website where you can sign up. And I think that you can form teams of up to 4, right? So feel free to go to this website and click the link to submit your entry. And one thing I like is a very attractive competition with a lot of attractive prizes. You also get a chance to learn about finite element analysis and some of the tools that we use at NUS MSE, right, to understand materials. So if you are interested, should go to this link or where you can join our Telegram group, or you can actually send us a message on the chat or email us or email your Eunice to get more details if you need it. Okay, so the next part is the MSc curriculum. Right, before we move on, any questions, feel free to enter into the chat. All right, otherwise, if not, then Vincent can take over from here.
Okay, thanks, Ben. I think that's excellent introduction to material science. I guess most of you all should have really understand what material science is all about. So I'll just cut the chase. Let's just move on straight to what we can offer you if you join us in NUS. So actually, before this, I would actually like to ask some questions. I think Edie has some questions for the students. Should I stop sharing and Edie, you take over first?
Okay,
Okay.
do that. Yep, so we're gonna work on a poll. So
I think they need to go to the
log
link, right?
into the link.
Yeah.
So okay, you guys need help with the link.
Wait, once you get to the link on your phone or your laptop, can you maybe raise your hand so we know that everybody is at the link?
Let me know if you guys need help.
We have a series of short questions.
So have anyone used this before, or you're confused what to do?
It's actually the same like Kahoot, it's just that this is like
Yeah.
a different version of it. It is the same context. There will be
Okay, we have one
sound.
student
Yeah.
raising hand so far.
So I'll encourage most of you all to try to join us. Go to this the website up there, polleverywhere.com, then /EDAL309. So go on there. I think it is great for us to have some interaction first before we move on to the dry part.
The link is
Yeah.
also in the Zoom chat. If you just click on the chat, then you can go straight to the link.
Yeah.
Any more? Let us know if you have any difficulties.
Well, I guess for for the sake of the time, we should just move on, I guess.
Okay.
So I think last chance for those who wants to join this so-called quiz, right? The fun quiz. If not, then we shall move on. Edie, all yours.
Great. So let's start with the first question. So what's the world's lightest material? So we have all the 4 different answers here. Let's see if we can actually select. So the fastest one down the clock, we have 25 seconds. Okay, I think you guys should know it better than me. I'm not an engineering student. So if I can score more than you, means I'm quite good.
So there is a time limit to each question. There's a countdown at the bottom left.
Okay, counting down. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
Not bad. Who is that 6% plastic?
No, actually,
Wow.
could I maybe just interrupt for a while? So
Yeah.
may I have some reasons to anyone who chose aerogel? Can anyone explain why aerogel is the lightest? I mean, don't put aerogel because we have plastic and we have metal and ceramic. So
Quite
yeah,
obvious, right?
it's something that is obvious, I know lah. But anyone wants to give it a try, give it a go? Like say why this is the lightest material, or I think I'll put it simply. So anyone knows what is the aerogel? Maybe you can reset the hand, the gesture. We can then see who are the ones who know. Yeah, excellent. So I thanks. I think yeah, this is exactly true. So for aerogel, as the name suggests, aero actually means air, but that's actually, I'm not sure whether it really mean air, but for me, I'll call it air. And a gel itself is a continuous network of polymers, right? So itself is a continuous cross-linked polymer with air in its pockets. So graphene aerogel is the lightest because graphene is just made out of C, carbon atoms, right? And therefore it's going to be the lightest materials. Excellent. So I think this topic we will go through this if you join our course. We have, I think, lab sessions, we have modules that talk about what graphene can be used in applications, right? Next question, thanks.
Okay, great. So now what's the strongest material then? Anyone? Okay. So we have the answer. Oops.
Okay, looks like a lot of people thought graphene, which is interesting. Right answer is not graphene. Right, Victor, you want to share?
Well, I think we entered the thing. I don't think we. Okay, sorry. I think we didn't put in the right answer. It should actually be graphene,
Yeah.
right? So graphene. Okay, I know it's a bit difficult to appreciate right now because if you look at a macro structure, diamond is going to be the hardest, right? Because of its covalent bonds. The way it is being formed, right? So I know most of y'all should have appreciate this, right? But if you look at graphene itself, if you look at atomic level, not really atomic level, let's look at it in macroscopic level. It's going to be the strongest material. So itself, the graphene sheet itself is actually very strong. So because they're all connected by this covalent bond, right? So that actually graphene should be the strongest material for this question. So anyone wants to perhaps explain why diamond is the hardest material? Or do you all know what's graphene? Anyone knows what's a graphene? Okay, I think one way to put it simply, right, is that if you have a pencil right now with you, you get a scotch tape, scotch tape, and you can scrape that graphene. Yes, it's a one atom thick layer of graphite. Yes, precisely. So the pencil lead is made out of graphite. So imagine using a Scotch tape. You go and try to stick it onto the graphite and just peel it off. That layer most likely should be graphene, right? That is what we call a mechanical exfoliation. So of course, that's not going to be the effective way of producing the graphene. So another way to do it is the chemical methods. There are a lot of chemical methods right now. So if, of course, this graphene will be discussed in our modules as well. And for this, we have our Nobel laureate, the one who have discovered graphene, he's in our department. So if you are very interested in graphene, why this is the strongest material in the nanoscopic sense, then please, definitely I'll welcome you all to come look for us, right?
Yeah,
I think
in
we
fact,
can,
actually, the cool part is he used a Scotch tape to actually win the Nobel Prize.
yes, precisely. So I mean, all of y'all can just do this very simple experiment. Just use a Scotch tape and try to see whether you can graphene. I mean, just a fun fact. In the past, graphene 1 gram, if I'm not mistaken, 1 gram of graphene is about $1,000 USD. I think that was in the past. So if you manage to create 1 gram of graphene, wow, that's 1,000 USD. Yeah, that's just a side information. Anyway, Edie, can we move? Yes. All right. So which of the materials is a natural material? Which of this is a natural materials?
And the most basic one, I think.
I hope this is pretty straightforward, right? So whoever is wrong, I'm just curious what's the answer. Excellent. I'm just curious. Bronze. Well, I mean, technically, metal ores, right? Metal ores are actually natural materials, of course, right? That's how you mine the metals from the ground. But they don't really exist as a metal itself. You need to refine it before you can get a metal, right? That's something I think most of us can appreciate. So bronze is actually a alloy, so it's not naturally found, right? So that's where you need to combine two metals together. So that is one area that probably we'll go through during we have a metal topic, a topic on metallic materials. So that's one of the modules that we have, right? Plastics, I think, well, plastics, that's actually interesting because plastic, Ben, do you know anything about plastic? How should we do this?
Well, plastic is actually not a natural material, and the reason is it doesn't exist naturally. Actually, the nature does not make plastic. Humans make plastics. And actually, the very first use of plastic was in 1940s, and then after 1950s onwards, it actually called it the plastic era, because we figure out how to use, refined crude oil, and basically started to make all the polymers that are used to today right now. Cling wrap, your Ziploc bags, all these are actually man-made, right? And plastic is not a natural material, because it's actually made from crude oil.
Yeah, precisely. So actually, this brings me to the point that wood is something that is natural, so it's actually abundant, of course. So here I want to actually make this point to you that actually there's a lot of research on wood being a functional material. So imagine using wood to conduct electricity, right? So how can we do this? So if you look at wood, I'm not sure whether you have ever played with wood before. You have the phloem and the xylem. Not sure whether you all know this. So there's a transportation channels in the wood, right, in a certain direction. So just imagine putting in some conductive liquid through these channels. And if you do this, what you get actually is a one-directional material. I mean, a material with a one-directional conductive behavior. So how cool will it be? Just imagine just rotating this wood to change to be a switch on and off, right? So there are a lot of things that can be used wood for, and that is one of the topic that we can probably explore during FYP. Okay, can we have the next question? Okay, this is a trick question. So
Is it true or false?
yeah, so material science and engineering is a good blend between science, right, and engineering. So it's a trick question.
Okay, just for the fun, we just
Yeah,
guess.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I think let's see what's the response. I think it's a good gauge for us to know whether like how well students know about material science and engineering.
Great. Wow.
Well,
Okay. Oh, okay.
well,
Interesting.
I'll just give you the point that okay, maybe just a bit of a story, right? So before I tell you the story, let me just tell you the answer straight away, right? It should be true, because if you look at the word itself, right, there's science and engineering, right? So that's where you get science and engineering in one place. That's the place where you can get best of both worlds, right? So in the past, in 2005, material science and engineering was called material science. There's no engineering, right? So back then in the old days, it was actually situated at Faculty of Science. So that's where we only learn science, right? Science includes physics, chemistry, or biology of the material. Not really biology of the material, but physics, chemistry of the material. But we try to also learn the biology of the human body so that we can put that material into that patient or human, right? So when it comes to, I think 2006 or something, right? Then material science the department decided that we need to push on further to make something that is science fiction to reality. So that is where we incorporate engineering. So that is where we have material science and engineering, and it became a faculty in, it is now situated in Faculty of Engineering, NUS, right? So we try to incorporate engineering into our course right now. So how do we do this? So material science is all about talking about how the properties of material is all about, right? I mean, physics and chemistry. I think all of y'all should know how this is going to be, right? But how can we leverage on this property and make it into something functional? So for instance, the one that I mentioned, the wood, right? How can we make a wood into a conductive material? And not only simply just by coating it, but a material with an anisotropic electrical property. So that is where material science comes in, right? I'm not sure whether this is a good description. Any follow-up, Ben, you want to include?
No, I think this is great, and it points to the fact that MSE is really a very unique blend and almost at the heart of all kinds of derivatives of engineering disciplines, right? So that's something I think Vincent will also talk about in the other slides.
Yeah, please. Okay, can we have the next question?
Okay, let's see who scored the highest.
Okay,
Oh.
so Isaiah is leading.
Awesome.
Quite a few change.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. So can you guess who is this professor? It's gonna be in the picture.
Professor X. Cool. That is nice.
Easy,
Or
right? I should have turned off my video.
Pokemon favorite. Yeah, maybe it's Professor Ox.
I believe someone will choose Professor X somehow.
I think the Pokemon fans will choose Professor Ox. Okay.
Yeah, I'm right. Someone will choose Professor X. So Ben, you do want to correct them?
Well, it does look a lot like Professor X with hair, right?
How could it be? So I also like to mention that Ben is an excellent researcher. He's one of the top researcher in his field. So once you come into MSc, you get guidance from these top researchers in our department. And I think Ben, you are focusing on electronic skin.
Yeah,
and
so I work
he's
a lot with robots.
yeah. Perhaps you want to share with them the things that you're doing, and I don't know, maybe get them hooked.
Sure. So anyway, you can just Google me. I work on various things, among them building skins for robots using different materials, right? And basically making them even have self-repair function. A bit like, I don't know, I guess you are too young to have watched the Terminator series, you know, like where they have robots that can self-heal. But yeah, so there's kind of some of the things I'm doing. But actually, the idea is really not to make killing robots, but to allow us to have more sustainable use of technology. For example, if your phone breaks, your screen breaks, next time, if you use the self-healing material we're developing, it'll actually heal itself. All the cracks will be gone, right? And so this is something that we are doing. And actually, in fact, some of the things Apple is also trying to look into this. So it's definitely the future, right? And material science have always been part of creating futures, because if you look at the world you're living now, all the technology in your hands, your smartphones, they're all powered by semiconductors, and that's something that is driven by materials innovation, right? Every silicon device that you see is really a lot of materials understanding, and to get here. And of course, you've heard all the semiconductor shortage. It's a very big industry, and many of our students do join the semiconductor industry. So yeah, feel free to look me up. Send me an email if you're interested to find out more. Yeah.
I think that would be a great thing that I think all of you look him up, you know, try to bug him with your questions. I think that you will learn a lot from him. Yeah. Could we have the next question, Lily? Thanks. I think it's a given. I think most of you should know, right? If you listen.
For those who pay attention, obviously. Okay,
All right.
Great.
Okay, I think we do not need to explain much more. So he's the one who used a Scotch tape to win Nobel Prize. So you can be another. I mean, who knows, right? In the future, you might win too. So can we have? Sorry, I think for the sake of time, we need to move slightly faster.
Yep.
So curriculums, how many pathways? I think yeah.
We can just make a rough guess.
Just guess lah.
Then later we will explain more. So Vincent will explain more later. Okay.
So when we say pathway, it means that material science we can specialize in different areas, right? So because material science actually encompass the entire universe, so-called, right? As long as you use material. Okay. Thanks for those who gave us 5. I really appreciate that. We try our best. We'll try our best to include more in the future, but currently we only have 3. So later on, I'll explain more later. Okay. Can we have next question?
Okay, so yeah, what's our MSc Instagram name, handle name? Just choose whatever you think is right.
Don't worry, I also don't know.
After this, you will know.
Yeah.
Right after this. Okay, we're counting down. This will be the last question, so we can move on to the next segment of the program. So, oh, not bad.
Nice.
Great. Yeah, correct. It is NUS dot material.
Okay.
Oh, great.
So I'll be frank to everyone. It's just a scam for you to. It's a scheme, not a scam. Sorry, it's a scheme for you all to look us up.
Yeah. Great.
So,
So
okay.
we have 2 winners. Yeah, 7,000 points. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks for participating this. So we'll keep the records. Okay. Right. So I think let's move on to the next part because I think we need to complete this as soon as we can. So Edie, could you let me share? So I hope that you all have fun because the next part is very boring. Right. So MSc curriculum overview. So this is what we are trying to entice you with, but or just keep it short, right? So I think material science and engineering is something that we should all appreciate. Why? Because materials are actually all around us. So regardless, is it nature? Is it made in nature or is it man-made materials? you are still surrounded by materials, right? So it comes to this point where we need to start to understand and appreciate the science behind the materials. So typically we'll use physics and chemistry to understand the properties of the materials. So I think what we have mentioned during the quiz is that the reason why this is called material science and engineering is because we have two branch, right? We can split it into two branch basically, right? The science part is where we understand the properties. And the engineering part is where we bring this property, bridge it towards an application. So I think most of you all should appreciate this Tesla batteries. Oh, it's not very fancy actually. If you really know this, the technologies, these technologies have been used in batteries for a long time, right? It's just that the way they design the batteries, how they place the batteries on the framework of the cars is pretty interesting. So actually, the way the battery technology has been stagnant for a while. But of course, the material itself, there is a lot of rigorous research ongoing. So, I mean, I think I forgot to mention this. So one of my expertise is in batteries. So if you're interested in lithium-ion batteries, interested in zinc-ion batteries, supercapacitors, water splitting, or even like water collection or thermal management, you can look me up, right? So this is what I do. So you have those electronic skins, what Ben is doing, and also we even have like alumni working on rockets that sends satellites to the moon, right? Not almost saying to the moon, to the space. So I think this is a brief overview of what material science is all about, right? So you can see here a colorful wheel. So material science actually encompass few disciplines, right? So like for instance, it can actually encompass mechanical engineering. So what do I mean by this? So if you look at it, materials itself has mechanical properties. So even if you are in mechanical engineering, you will definitely have to learn the mechanical properties of materials. Makes sense, right? Because that is how you can use that knowledge and build something that is functional. It could be a bridge, right, or something, right? So even like electrical engineering, you also need to learn about electrical properties of materials, right, and so on and so forth. So here we have these four key factors where we look at the processing, the structure of the materials, the properties of the materials, and the performance of materials. So in short, material science and engineering in NUS, what we are very interested in is how can we bring the structures, relate the structures to the properties, and then eventually use a certain processing methods and therefore produce something that's functional, and then we can measure its performance. Right, so this is how the flow is all about. Right, so accreditation, I think this might be important for most people who wants to go overseas and get a career there. So good news is that our accreditation has ended this year. So another good news is that we have completed the new exercise in March 2021. Right, so this accreditation exercise is basically the Washington Accord. So this Washington Accord, interestingly, right, actually is just a agreement among all these companies, all these countries, right? So what it means is that if you have a degree in NUS or with material science, then your degree will be recognized in all these countries, right? All these countries. So like what I mentioned, I think the key priority in for us, all of us here, is that we want to deliver quality education for all students. So that is regardless of your background. So even if you're from Poly, you could be from IB or high international or JC, we don't care. So as long as you are with us, material science and engineering, NUS, we will treat everyone equally, and we will deliver the best education to all, right? So we have developed new, not Not sure whether we have developed new methodology, but still we have found new ways to teach students effectively by engaging them. So I'm not sure how it's like in polytechnics, but in university, definitely it's no longer, you listen to the teachers, but rather it's more of a discussion where we learn from each other, right? It's going to be a more discussion-based and student-centric environment. Right, I think this is something that you probably are interested in, right? So for Polytechnic students, as long as you are accredited with us, then you can be awarded 38 advanced placement credit. So what this means is that you can scrape off 1 year worth of undergrad study with us. Okay, don't worry about all the modules, the MCs, right? MCs simply represents modular credits, so this is fine. So for students, you need to accumulate a certain number of modular credits, and because you're from polytechnics, usually we can waive you off from these modules, and that is worth 38 MCs. So the polytechnic students will take a 3 years honor course with us. Okay, so unlike like other departments, I'm not sure whether are there other. So 3 years actually gives you a degree without honors, right? So the schedule is as such, right? So you have 4 years here. Of course, you'll be waived off the final year because you are aggregated with us. So here in year 1, I think this is quite interesting because we have these gray boxes, all the gray boxes. So these gray boxes are the modules that you can take based on your interests. So if you decide to fill it up with a second, or not say major, because if you take a second major, you probably need more time to complete your studies. So if you decided to take a minor in computer science, right? Or it could be architectural, right? Or even, I don't know, business, right? You can utilize these gray slots to fit in your modules. I think another important points are those in purple. So all these purple ones are our material science modules. So I think not much fun if I were to tell you all these things right now. Probably you will not remember all these things, but I think I will highlight a few things later on. Okay, and of course those in the beige colored, right? They are the so-called the modules that are the general education modules, and then we have all those in deep blue. I'm a bit colorblind, so this is deep blue, right? Where you have the common modules for engineering. So we have artificial intelligence here, and how can we build sustainable futures, and how can we manage the projects, right? So I think that's some important soft skills that you need to know. So specialization. So this is one of the questions that we had for the quiz. So 20 MCs. So what this means is that you only need to fulfill 20 MCs in order to get the specializations. So we have 3 specializations right now. Biomedical materials. So if you're interested in like artificial limbs, artificial heart, printing of the tissues, 3D printing of organs, you can go for this. So nanostructured materials, of course, is more pertaining to the energy storage, energy conversion, solar panels, all these batteries and whatnot. Then finally, I think this is a new one. So this is the one that we're going to introduce in the future, and I think it's just in time when you all join us if in the future. So artificial intelligence is something that I think most of you all should understand is very important right now. So how can we use this so-called artificial intelligence to find new materials for a certain application, right? So this is why we are introducing this specialization, right? So I guess this is what we want to emphasize, because like we say, right, this is material science and engineering. So the beauty of our course, right, is that we have science, both the science and engineering. So if you look at this, of course, science is where we ask question why this is so, right? But engineering is where we ask how to make this thing happen, right? So if we put it in a those kind of employment situation, you'll see that those who knows how to do it will get a job, but basically you will just do the job like a technician, or probably. So those who know why will also get a job, but that would probably be non-technical people because they don't know how to do it. So whoever knows how and why will become their leader, right? So that is why you have like, for instance, the Google CEO, right? He knows why and how because he has science and engineering in one package. So the QS ranking here, if you are interested in it, right? So NUS is first for employment's reputation. So that actually simplifies, I'll just simply put it this way. So if you tell your future employers that you are from NUS, it's more likely that you can get hired as compared to other universities. So just for example, if you are ever thinking of going defense sectors, they usually look at the top universities like NUS or NTU, right? So the rest they don't really care. So I think here another part of education, other than the modules, you know, all the things that you just regurgitate, we have things that gets your hand dirty. We have very well equipped lab. So I can't really show you all the labs, I mean all the equipments right now because there will be a lot for us to really showcase. So this is just some corporate illustration of what labs we have. So you can see all of them are very happy and enjoy their experience. So yeah, right. So let me just bring you to the component that I want to highlight. We have a few labs, hands-on labs and machine learning course incorporated in our MSc module. So when you join us, of course, we have few of these introductory courses that involve labs. Then we have a lab purely to let our student use the characterization machine like XRD, SEM, TEMs, if you are interested, and some other equipments, right? So once you learn all about the different characterization machine and skills, then we'll move on to another lab, which is how can we make the products out, and how can we use all the characterization techniques that we learn and classify their properties, right? And finally, we have another one. This is this entirely new one, which is a machine learning approaches in material science, right? So this is something that I think I'm actually personally I'm actually looking forward to this course. Also, we have a few internship collaborations, a lot from different companies. I think just to highlight a few, of course, we have arranged them in sequence. The first one, these ones are the so-called the semiconductors. So like what Ben has mentioned just now, the global shortage. I mean, I think by the time you're graduate from a degree, right? I think by then it should have subsided. But nevertheless, I mean, semicon is going to be a evergreen, so-called, even though it's a cyclic industry. So applied materials, if you're interested, and Micron and global foundries. So all these you have opportunities to intern here. Then you have DSO. We have a few students who currently works at DSO. So he was also from, I think, Polytechnic. He did really great. So he was there. So great for him. So do you have ST engineering, DSTA? So all these are defense sectors. So if you're interested in securing Singapore's defense, go for it. So among this, I would recommend DSTA. Okay, that's where everything good goes to lah. Then finally, you have all the other companies like Bosch, you have Rolls-Royce. If you're interested in the, like the planes, right? So I mean, I know this is not aerospace engineering, but our material science students are still highly favored in process as a process engineer. So to optimize the process, then we're DNV, right? So all these are actually very big companies. So just another thing that I want to probably voice out to you all is that you all do not need to do internship. I'll just make it clear to you all. You do not need to do internship, but this is, if you want to, you can have the opportunity to do this via a vacation internship program. So I think Alicia will share with you more later on. Right, so I think end of the day, I think this is the last slide. The end of the day is that we want to, it is difficult to measure impact. Okay, I'll be frank. How can we measure impact? So what I mean is this. So we want to know how impactful our graduates are in influencing or shaping the future of Singapore or even the world. So we have a few statistics here. I know it's a bit I know small for you all, but in general, NUS graduates, they can earn 8% premium as compared to graduates from other universities. So that's pretty money, okay? And we are ranked 9th in the world for employability. So we have I think these are just few numbers that you might want to take a look. But I think here is that I want you to look at this, right? So always think of it this way. I mean, Polytechnic, education is just a step where you should move towards further studies, and I really hope that most of you all can try your best to get better GPAs in the future, okay, and get motivated and join NUS. It might not be MSE, but definitely I hope that you all can move forward in NUS. So because if you look at this, we have a lot of people taking up continuing education at NUS to improve and reskill. So that is very important things that you need to take note. So here is the research. I think this is the part where I want to emphasize, right? So patents. So in 1 year, simply 12 months, right? We have 1,989 patents. So imagine the opportunity you can have if you were to join us, right? Do great research with us, and probably you can have a patent as well, right? So that is how impactful our research is. And we have 125 spin-off company based on the technologies that we have built. And of course, I think if you are interested in the well-being of Singapore and so forth, right? We form the alumni form half of the 14 Singapore Parliament that's actually given. So we have a lot of community projects that is catered not only to Singapore and also overseas. So I think this is something that we try to contribute back to the community, right? I think that's basically what I want to maybe focus on. Right, so I think that's basically it. I hope I didn't bore all of you to death. So let me just move on to the next one. Let's do a quick one. So we have 2 undergrads, material science and engineering undergrads, who will share their experience with all of you. So both of them, they are from NYP Alumni, right? So I believe they will just introduce themselves later on. So perhaps we can invite Alicia to give her speech. Alicia?
Hello, can I share my screen?
Yes, let me stop it first.
Okay. Okay, can see my screen, right? Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Alisa, and I'll be sharing with you about my experience about like MSE at NUS and transitioning from poly to uni. So before that, here's a little more about myself first. Yeah, if you have any questions that you want to ask in future, right, my Telegram handle is attached here. Yeah. So I'm majoring in material science and having a second major in innovation and design, which is basically design thinking or product design for those of you who do not know. And I'm currently in year 3. And I graduate in 3.5 years actually, because I took this second major in innovation and design. So yeah. Then I was from Nanyang Poly, nanotechnology and material science too, and graduated in 2019. So actually, Dr. Eunice and Michi actually taught me very fun lessons, by the way. Yeah, I really miss Poly. Currently, I've been staying in Raffles Hall for the past 2 years. The hall's life is really fun and you get to try out new CCAs there. Mine was mainly videography, photography, and graphic design. So first is, why did I choose NUS MSE? As you can see in the picture in the background and what all my profs covered just now, there is a mix of many things. So mainly chemistry, physics, and engineering, which is one of the main reasons why I chose MSE. So honestly, what sparked this interest was the movie Big Hero 6 that was released back when I was in Sec 4. So it featured all the cool technology and how material science was involved. Firstly, I'll address why I chose MSE apart from Big Hero 6. So it's a multidisciplinary and can be applied to many fields, such as forensics, biomedical, chemical industries, and many more. So I also find it really cool, especially how different materials behave in a nanoscale. So one example is as shown. So these are all the same materials, but depending on the particle size and dimensions, they can appear as completely different colors with different properties. So I also find smart materials to be really interesting, especially the mechanism of how shape memory alloys can return to its original form once heat is being applied. But these are just surface level stuff, and it gets more interesting as you dive deeper into the topic. So as to why I chose NUS is because they offer the innovation and design program, which is, as mentioned, my second major. So one of the best things I've experienced during my poly days were the projects and how I can apply my problem-solving skills, creativity, and technical knowledge to produce working prototypes. So IDP allows me to do that. And in addition, they also provide resources, advice, and support along the way. So I'll show you some of my projects that I've done so far in the later slides. Furthermore, NUS sends out email to students about competitions, and I've taken part in a few of them, which allows me to prototype and idea more stuff. So that's also pretty fun. So the school also has MSE Club, which allows me to interact with my peers as there's more to university than just academics, right? So personally, I would want to enjoy the last step of my education journey thoroughly. So experiencing new activities along the way as well. And I've made many valuable friends along the way who has helped me in times of need, especially because I got short-term memory and tend to forget things like tests and assignments. So they will remind me of stuff like that. Then lastly, I wouldn't deny that NUS rankings have affected my choice as well, with NUS being known around the world, so providing countless and excellent research opportunities. I'm sure many of you are wondering what's it like being in uni as compared to poly. Is it difficult? I'll assure you that if you are thriving in poly, there should be no problem for you to thrive equally well in uni. Now I'll highlight some other key differences in the upcoming slide. So it's definitely much faster paced than poly. I remember being in poly and my other friends in uni told me that they go through one chapter per lecture. I was like, but poly we also go through one chapter per lecture, right? But let me just say that one chapter's content in uni, right, is equivalent to 2 to 3 chapters of content in poly. So it's definitely not the same. But not to worry, because some lectures that I've taken are recorded. So if you can't keep up, right, you can always play it back afterwards. So one clear advantage being from poly is the module exemption, which allows you to graduate in 3 years instead of 4, which I think Dr. Vincent has covered. Then you also have to register for your own modules, which gives you flexibility in choosing your own modules and time slots. Then poly students also have a hands-on advantage, and this makes it easier for project work and lab work and also reports. So we have the foundation of material science that it may seem like JC students will thrive in academics, but I've seen some struggle as well, so you don't need to be too afraid of them. And lastly, uni has no fixed class, as everyone will be taking different modules and different time slots for class. But since MSE has a relatively small cohort as compared to other courses, you will definitely see your course mates in classes and labs. And as I mentioned just now, or you can join MSE Club and make some friends there. So in the last segment, we'll be taking a look at some of my projects and internships that are done in NUS so far. So poly students are not required to do the 6 months industrial attachment, and hence I did my 2 internships so far. during my summer breaks, which is during May to August, start of August. So NUS has this portal called Talent Connect where you can apply for internships. So the first is in Scorpio Electric, where I did materials research, simulations, and proposed design changes to their electric motorcycle. Yeah, of course, it's just a prototype. So since it's a startup, I did some ad hoc photo taking and video taking as well, since I had experience in doing so. And over the past summer, which was May to August as mentioned, I just finished my internship at Defense Science Organization, researching on oxidation, protection, coating, and ultra high temperature ceramics. And can I just say that this internship was so difficult, but of course it was quite fruitful and I learned a lot of research and problem solving skills there. So these are some of the lab work that I've done during the MSc lab mod. So some of it include 3D printing, tensile tests, harness tests, and UV spectroscopy. But of course, there's many more that I cannot put in. Then these are my projects that I've done for IDP. The first being a year-long project on self-balancing mechanism for motorcycles, utilizing Arduino and gyroscopic effect. So this one somewhat not related to MSE. So the second one is designing an entire nano satellite and pitching it. So if you are interested in like space systems and stuff like that, you can take this module called Space Systems under IDP. But it's actually pretty difficult as compared to the normal mods because they cover a lot of content. And right now, since it's kind of like my final year, I'm doing my FYP on carbon fiber rims, but I just started on that, so there's nothing much to share. Yeah. And with that, I hope to see some of you in NUS MSE in future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alisa. That was a really nice introduction, and also, I'm not sure if you have any friends here, but anyway, if you have, feel free to message them. One thing is, I think what strikes me is that Alisa actually chose to do IDP, and I think the MSc do give that flexibility, right, Alisa, to do IDP.
Yeah, anyone can apply.
Right. And you think that taking this additional 6 months, do you feel it adds a lot of value to your program?
Yeah, it does, right? Because like if you go out to work in future, you have to work on like prototypes and not just like academic, like theoretical stuff. So taking IDP allows you to like do some hands-on stuff on physical prototypes.
Right, right. And I think at MSc, we actually encourage our students, to do that, having a broad-based thing, education, right? And that's what's nice about the program. Do you think the MSc curriculum, I mean, balancing all these courses, anything special about MSc that you think allow you to do IDP without too much impact in your schedule?
Basically, because I'm from Poly, right? So I have some module exemption. So actually other JC students will be struggling between like my year-long project for like IDP, there's this year-long project. So they'll be struggling with that and like normal modules that they have to take. And also IDP covers the UEMs, unrestricted elective. So you don't really have to worry about that.
Right. And that is good that MSc do have 25% allocated for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So any questions from the students for Alisa? You can feel free to put in a chat or unmute yourself. Anyone wants to ask any questions? Or I take it that everybody wants to join NUS MSc in that case. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay. Thank you, Alisa. I think your sharing has been very helpful. Maybe we move on to Ng Yi as also maybe a slightly he had maybe share new perspective also. Ng Yi, are you able to share your?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. And
Okay.
we can
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on. Give me a moment. Let me. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see. Yes. It's not in
yeah, yeah.
the presentation mode though. Okay. You need to do a slideshow, I think.
Okay, wait, hang on, let me reshare my screen. Something's happening. Are you able to see my screen now?
I see I don't see the slideshow, although you may have
Hold on.
clicked it.
Okay, now is it okay?
Yeah, now it's good. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the technical difficulty. Okay, I'll just keep this short. Okay, so thank you for inviting me over to this sharing session. So my name is Ng Yi, and similar to Alisa, I'm doing my final year in NUS MSE. So that's my Telegram handle over there. If you have any question, you can PM me personally. So a brief introduction of myself. Uh, Before entering NUS, I graduated from NYP in nanotechnology and material science, and I was in the very first BFP cohort, which is the Poly Foundation program in the Polytechnics. So the FYP that I did in NYP was the silver nanoparticle coated water filter and the synthesis of GA dope zinc oxide nanoparticle in Japan. So some of you may recognize the image on the right. It is actually me scooping out the pond water outside of Block S in NYP. And the picture below shows how surprisingly clean Singapore tap water is. Okay, so today I would like to share more of my I would like to focus more on my experience transitioning from NYP to NUS, and also I would like to focus on some of my concerns that I faced before entering NUS. So transitioning from NYP to NUS, you'll be very familiar with some things. The things that are taught in NUS is very similar to the things that are taught in NYP, such that you have lectures and tutorials at a specific timing and day, and that the attendance for lecture are usually not compulsory unless they state otherwise. Of course, it is encouraged to attend all the lectures so as to keep up with the workload. And you also be very familiar with things like report writing or like group project, as there are plenty of them in NYP. So from my personal experience, the amount of report that I wrote in Poly is actually more than the amount of report that I wrote in NUS so far. But now that I'm in the final year, it seems like the amount of report has been increasing quite significantly. Okay, so anyways, some of you would be more comfortable with this transitioning from NYP to uni. And finally, you'll be very familiar with some of the machines and equipment such as maybe the SEM UVVs, FTIR or XRD, as you might have used some of them during your FYP or your projects in NYP. And also, if I'm not mistaken, there is a module in NYP called Material Analysis and Nano Characterization. I'm not sure where is it removed now already, but anyways, you
Still
will get
being
to
taught
see.
in that module.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so you will see all the machines that you have learned in that module in NYP. So it is pretty much a head start for you guys. Okay, so one thing that might shock you is, as what Alisa said, the pace and content is massive as compared to Poly. So it might shock you when you enter NUS or even any other university, is the workload and pace content delivered to you. So to put things into perspective, in NUS MSE, they took around 3 weeks. Personally, they took around 3 weeks to cover one entire module in NYP. But then again, this is like the rite of passage in university. As long as you enter the university, you will just have to go through it. So the good thing is that after a semester or two, you'll quickly get used to the environment and the pace of teaching. So moving on to my personal concerns before entering NUS. So the first and most immediate concern for me was which university to go to. So in this case, material science is not only offered in NUS but also other universities. So you might want to consolidate some of the factors such as travel time, the teaching style between different universities, and your final GPA, whether or not you meet the cutoff point for the course. So for my cohort personally, when I was applying for NUS, the cutoff point was extremely high. As you can see on the bottom left, it was 3.89. So for my cohort in NYP, only 2% managed to enter NUS. But for this year cutoff point, of course, you can refer to the website for the updated GPA. But for me personally, I had to ask my friends and professors back in NYP and ask them what are their thoughts of the different universities. So I also remember approaching Dr. Eunice Goh to ask her about her opinion. And ultimately, I decided on NUS back then due to the prestigiousness of the uni and of course the shorter travel time for me. Okay, so my next concern that I faced was interest versus prospect. So some of you may or may not have this concern that I face. Before entering NUS, I studied the Japanese language for about 4 years, and I have taken Japanese OE1 to OE3, which is the optional elective in NYP, throughout the whole of my poly life. So of course, I'm very interested in Japanese studies. So I had a very difficult time choosing between taking the degree of my interest or to continue to take what I've been studying in NYP. So for those who are facing this problem, you can talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your tutors in poly and see what they have to say. And then just take some time to weigh the options and make sure you don't regret your decision. Of course, this is also applicable to any other course that you are torn between. You could also take up modules. You could also take up modules of your interest, like what I did in my final year right now, which is taking up the Japanese studies module alongside other core modules. And so for my last and biggest concern before entering NUS was the doubt and fear that you will not survive in uni. In retrospect, when I graduated from the PFP pathway in poly. That means that I was previously in the normal academic stream in secondary school. I have not taken any O-level or A-level math. So things like calculus is, to be honest, very foreign to me. I also had to go to NS, which took like 2 years of not studying. So naturally, this concerned me as the leap from poly to uni is very big, like what everyone said. Furthermore, in NUS, if I'm not mistaken, the number of poly students in NUS is smaller than, let's say, the JC counterparts. But over the years, the number of poly students has been increasing. So naturally, it's a very competitive environment. So everyone will be fighting for their grades. And I understand that some of you may think that, oh, if I'm from poly when I enter uni, I should die. Yeah, I want to assure you that is not the case. In fact, it's actually normal to have that kind of uncertainty because you're entering a totally new environment and at a higher level. So what I believe in is that if you are willing to put in, if what I believe in is that if you are aiming to enter the university and course of your choice, and if you are willing to put in the time and effort in studying, you'll definitely survive uni even if you had some kind of academic disadvantages like me. So with that, I end my presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ng, for sharing. Yeah, and about, I just like to add a bit on the GPA sort of requirements. I think it's very variable, and all those are just indicative numbers, right? So I wouldn't put too much weight on that in your decision, right? My suggestion is maybe you can talk to myself, talk to Vincent, send us an email if you're concerned. But there's a process is multi-stage. It's actually first stage submission of application. After that, there will be interviews and so on. So, I wouldn't weigh too much on your GPA if you feel that might affect your chances, right? Just talk to us, but also, definitely don't let that change your mind if you think that, material science is a good fit for your career path in the future. All right. And again, it's very batch dependent, right? So, and I think Ng has pointed out, it has varied every year. Okay. So thanks, Ng, for sharing. I think, both of you are from NYP have done very well, right, in MSE. So do we have questions from the current students at NYP? Maybe about the program, about what Vincent shared, or what Elisa and Ernie has shared? You can put in a message, or you can unmute and say your questions. Okay, so we may need a nudge from Eunice. No, anyway, just kidding. So I guess NYP students, I guess we covered all the bases. That means, I think maybe what we'll do is we'll have Ili send the Telegram link to the chat. Right, Ili, can you send the Telegram link to the chat? And also, if you are interested, follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn, or we put out a lot of news stories about research and the environment in our social media. Ili, can you put the link to the chat before we end off? I mean, I'll just leave it open. I know it's been a long hour plus. Maybe if anybody has questions, don't be too shy, right?
Yeah, you guys can just even drop us an inbox message on Instagram.
Yeah, great. And you can also share the Linktree link where it has all kinds of links on it.
Yeah, it is actually on our Instagram. You can just go in and our profile, you will see our Linktree, and then it will lead you to our website. If you guys want to take part in the competition, you can also feel free to just hit to the website as well.
That's right. Yeah, Ili, a bit soft. Ili, a bit soft. Can you speak a bit louder?
Oh, okay. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I dropped my email down. You guys can drop me an email. I'll be feel free to reach out to me for the competition or anything else that you guys need to know or you want to know actually.
Yeah, for the competition, right? After this, we will send out the links to them so that they can register lah. Right, and Elisa and Engi, nice to meet you again. And I'm very happy to know that both of you are enjoying yourself in the studies in NUS. All the best.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I think you want to take a photo, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, hoping
So,
if
yes, maybe for all of you who are here, could you turn on your videos? Then we could turn on your cameras. We turn on our camera and then we could take photos together for this session. Yeah, don't be shy.
I think NYP has a lot of very good looking people stalking your Instagram. So please show your face, then we can hashtag faces at NYP. Yeah. Okay. Any more?
Maybe while the students are owning their video, maybe I just check with the two alumni. Are you staying in hall?
No, I'm staying at home.
I see.
At least
Now-
now it's at home.
Yeah,
right?
not now lah, but I'll be going back tomorrow.
Oh. Is it easy to get a vacancy in the hall?
Not really.
Okay.
Come on, the rest.
Okay, maybe first year is easy, but then like subsequent year, because they prioritize first year, right? Then quite hard for you to get to stay in hall.
Okay.
And the rest, Roshan, Sebastian, Joel.
All the shy people. Any more?
Yes, Shrika, no, Atika,
Benjamin.
yeah, Aiden, Wing.
There's another Benjamin here. Okay. No, Benjamin is shy. Benjamin, you.
So all of you from which year of poly right now? Are you all mostly the last year or year 3? Okay.
Mostly year 3 and year 2. So I think I have 1 or 2 students from year 1 that registered.
Yes.
Actually, there's a questions asked in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
right. How big of a
big of a role does a CCA play in admission?
I
Or
think
as in poly?
some
CCA?
role, I think it depends on the CCA. So maybe you can send me or Ili an email and we'll help you find out in admission. Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't really have a CCA in poly.
Yeah. So
But you
yeah.
still got in anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that's a very good question. I think we can find out more I think somehow it does play a part somehow. But I think, yeah, just feel free to drop us an email. Thank you so much. Your camera is not on though. You're talking.
So shy.
I spot you. It's okay. Okay, so I think we'll just okay, everybody just start posing, look at the camera. Okay, I'll get back to that question, the 191 thing. Hold on. Okay, one. Xiaohui, are you ready? Xiaohui, haven't ready yet. See your hair. Okay, no, Xiaohui. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. I do a capture screen. I still need to double check. Okay, can we do one more just to make sure that we are all okay? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so do you have physics introductory talk also?
Oh, okay. I think you can. I think most of. I think the. Do you mean when you join the curriculum, or when you join? That means, do you mean the year 1 courses, or do you mean whether we will have other talks related to physics? So I'm not so clear on the question.
I think you can unmute and ask. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.